the Urobos, the Ishekiri, the Yoruba, the Hausa, the Fulanis, the Nubes, the Kanuris, the Ogonis, the Guares, the Katars, the Jukas, the Edos, the Bibios, the Efiks, the Domas, the Chiefs, the Junkos, the Birons, the Agnas, the Ogojas, and so on. There were kingdoms like the Oyo Kingdom, the Lagos, the Calabar Kingdom, the Brass Kingdom, the Shekiri Kingdom, the Benin Empire, the Tiv Kingdom, the Borno Kingdom, the Sokoto Caliphate, with loose control over Kano, Ilorin, and Zaria. We have the Boni Kingdom, the Obobo Kingdom, etc. Prior to the British conquest of all these different nations making up the present day Nigeria, these nations were independent nation states. By independent nation states, I mean they were countries of their own. No? They had their own army, they had their own police, they had their own school, they had civilization. Not Western civilization, but they had their own civilization. And communities, okay. The bulk of what is now Nigeria became British territory between 1885 and 1914. Although some autonomous communities were not conquered and incorporated in the protectorate until the early 20s. Between the 15th and 19th centuries, European relations with West Africa, Nigeria is under West Africa, were trade, commercial, with little or no political undertone. That is, the Europeans come into Africa, do business and go back. They did not have any influence after coming to rule us. So the British and the Europeans, they were doing business with all these kingdoms. And the major business then was slave trade. The Europeans depended on the coastal rulers, not only for securing their trade, but also for the safety of their lives and the properties. So it was Africans that were protecting them when they were coming to do those business. Before one day they thought they could conquer this. It is only Igbos in Nigeria that would leave their villages and build big mansions in Sokoto, in Jos, in Kano, set up billion-dollar businesses in Lagos and other parts of Nigeria. Thus, at every time the unity of Nigeria is threatened or challenged, the Igbo man loses both his people and their investments in millions at the slightest crisis in any part of Nigeria. It was never the intention of the Igbo in any form possible to leave Nigeria. As a major stakeholder in the Nigerian project, our people have continuously shown through our investment and migration to all and in all parts of the nation. It will therefore be counterproductive for us who built this nation to decide one day to opt out of the country. We have contributed tremendously in building and showcasing on the world stage. At no stage during the struggle for independence has the leaders of the Southeast or Igbos made any move that suggests they do not want to be part of Nigeria. That is why the British was still here, bullying us. When we were trying to get independence, there was never a time that the Nigerian leaders, the Igbo leaders said they don't want to be part of Nigeria. In fact, it was our brother, our father, the late chief, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, that was the person that championed the cause of unification of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The Igbos continue to believe in the Nigerian project despite every signs and early signs of possible hatred and disunity. The routine killing of Igbos, even for things they are totally unconnected with, did not start today. Of course, you people know, during the natural justice, this is a trend that started even before Nigeria's independence. Below are a list of massacres of Igbos with towns, villages, and ye. A look at the first two mass killings will show you that the hatred started even before Nigeria became independent. In Jos, in 1945, in Kano, in 1953, then 1966, we had the pogrom where over 60,000 civilians of Igbo descent died. Between May 29, 1967 to July, when they declared the Biafran War, over 200,000 civilians of Igbo descent were killed. In 1967, between 1967 to 1970, over 3,100,000 Igbos were killed during the Biafran War. Kano, 1980, Igbos were killed. Maiduguri, 1982, Igbos were killed. Jimeta, 1984, Igbos were killed. Gombe, 1985, Igbos were killed. Zaria, 1987, Igbos were massacred. Kaduna and Kafanchan, 1991, Igbos were killed. Bauchi and Katsina, 1991, Igbos were killed. Kano, 1991, Igbos were killed. Zangon, Qatar, 1993, Igbos were killed. Funtua, 1993, Igbos were killed. Kano, 1994, Igbos were killed. The list is endless. For want of time, I will leave the rest of the as a security man rises within a short space of time to become a manager. This, instead of becoming an advantage, became a disadvantage to the Igbo man. Our story became akin to the story of Joseph in the Bible, who had a dream, shared it with his brothers, and instead of them praising him, his dream only incurred their wrath. The first military coup of July 15, 1966 did not help matters at all, as this was interpreted to be an Igbo orchestrated coup in a regrettable manner. I have listened to their argument that since the Igbos are agitated to go, they have been given a quick notice for them to do so. That is a very poor argument coming from people who should be educated. In legal terms, the ultimatum ought to have been to the federal government to conduct a referendum for the people of the Southeast for self-determination, and not a quick notice, because by law and jurisprudence, so long as a referendum is not conducted and a new republic declared for the Igbos, we have a right to reside and do business anywhere within the territory of Nigeria. See Article 1, Sub 2 of the United Nations treatment of the region, which graduated from marginalization to total exclusion based on the 97% and 5% policy of the present administration. However, while our people have every reason to be aggrieved and the right to vent their anger and their frustration and seek equity and justice by democratic and non-violent means, we should also not allow our emotions to rule our reasoning. As our people say, it will not be good to hear that the she-goat delivered in tether when elders are at home. Questions would eventually be asked. History will inquire if no elder was at home when the toad put to bed and the baby toad grew up a puffed creature because no one cared to stretch its hands or legs the way forward. A lot of considerations need to be made. Our people must realize that Biafra under our late leader, Deep Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu, was as a final resort. It's important that we note this, that under Deep Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu, the declaration of Biafra was not as a first resort. It was as a final resort. That is to say, that after Aguiyi Ironsi was assassinated and Gowon took over, Ojukwu did not immediately declare Biafra. Rather, Ojukwu sought to dialogue with the Nigerian government for them to help to end the killing of Igbos, because as they were killing Aguiyi Ironsi, they were also killing senior military officers of Igbo extraction from the military. In the barracks, they come into your house, they bring you out and they kill you. By the time Ojukwu started complaining and started negotiating and making noise, they had already killed 60,000 Igbos in 1966. But Ojukwu did not declare any Biafra. Ojukwu continued to call on the international communities to intervene. Ojukwu continued to negotiate with and consult with with Gowon, who was the head of state of Nigeria at the time, on a possible solution to end the killing, and then to give us true federalism where we can own our own police, our own military, control our own resources as it were before the advent of the British. Do you understand?
Sure.
So, I am making this point now because in our discussion, I would like us to also understand that we need not rush to declare Biafra now. It is important that we also try to explore the option of dialogue so that Biafra will be as a last resort when we do not have any other option. Again, there is legal questions of not just achieving sovereignty, but achieving international recognition. As a sovereign state, I need to make you understand this. Not all nations that declare themselves independent have recognition as a sovereign state. The international community have laid down rules of how to recognize a country as a sovereign. There are so many. The IOI youths have declared a quit notice on the people of Biafra, which is illegal. Up till now, we are not aware that any of the people that made this call have been arrested or questioned by the security agencies. Chances are that on the 1st of October, some unlettered and ignorant northern youth may take up arms against our people. We use this opportunity to call on the acting president and the federal government to take up proactive measures to check the excesses of the youth of northern Nigeria. With all its charm, disunity, bloodshed, and pain, people like me still believe that a united, progressive, and peaceful Nigeria is far better than secession of any kind. Some people like me still believe that the government and other people of Nigeria can still make the Igbos believe in a united nation again. It is now up to the federal government to prove me right or wrong. The agitation for a sovereign state of Biafra will decrease, I know, certainly, the moment the Igbo man begins to feel there is structural balance in the distribution of things jointly owned by all Nigerians. The day our people begin to feel no more marginalization, the day our people are treated with equity, fairness, the day our people enjoy the same standards that is set for all other Nigerians, regardless of their ethnic and tribal living. The example of South Africa is apt. Mandela and his people were made slaves in their own country. They drew in a very fierce battle, which landed Mandela in jail for over 20 years. He returned from prison, became president of South Africa, and at the time, the whole world expected him to take his pound of flesh from all those who have dealt with him. Mandela set up a committee for national reconciliation and peaceful coexistence. I call on acting President Yemi Osinbajo and the federal government to learn from the example of Nelson Mandela and inspire peace, unity, and oneness among Nigerians, regardless of their tribal living and ethnic group. I understand many of you may be asking what are we talking about when we mention restructuring. The truth is that the benefit of restructuring is enormous, just like Vice President Atiku Abubakar posted in his speech during the launching of a new weekly newspaper, Daily Street. He listed some benefits of restructuring, viz. Devolution of power to states, reduction of federal government exclusive list, which is 87, in favor of the concurrent list, which is only 15, developing our own model of fiscal federalism, reduction in number of federating units, administrative restructuring, legal bureaucracy, local government autonomy, federal ownership of interstate roads, resource sharing, resource control, state police, federal character principle, among others. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, I have met some few of our Hausa, Fulani Muslim brothers. I have also met some Yoruba guys. In fact, there's hardly any tribe in Nigeria that I do not have a very good friend. one-on-one with them, I see no difference. It is race that has divided us. It is religion that has destroyed us. It is class that is tearing us apart. It is tribalism that has murdered our sense of reason. I do believe that we need each other. I do pray that the regular bloodletting will cease. I do believe that we are not the most culturally and religiously diverse nation in the whole world. We can coexist. Any attempt to kill or force Igbos out of the north by October will further divide Nigeria. I may unite the entire Southeast and beyond to come together and fight for division or secession against all odds. We therefore use this medium once again to plead with His Excellency, the Archpresident of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo SAN, to take all appropriate measures to make the Igbo man once again to feel at home in Nigeria. When a child cries and cries and cries again, it is the duty of the parent to find out why the child is crying and not to kill the child. Because in our language we say, if you find out the reason why a child is crying, all you need to do is to cuddle the child and to console the child, and the child will stop crying. But if you kill the child, you have not solved the problem. The government of Nigeria, as the parents here, have a duty to bring close to their bosom the crying people of the Igbo race, to console them, to warm them, to wipe their tears, and to make them feel at home once again. Thank you and God bless you.